Alrighty. Hey everybody. I know I said I would do this broke bitch makeup chronicle type shit, and so this will be the first video in true broke girl fashion because I can't afford good lighting, so this is all you're gonna get. Also, I'm very blind, so I have to use a separate mirror for everything because I wear my glasses basically all the time, so this isn't gonna be super in-depth because I can't zoom on my phone that well. So this is, yeah, on my phone. That's the way that's going to be for right now. But I will try to be as explanatory as I possibly can while I'm doing things. And also as truthful while I'm doing things. And if anyone, wants to know anything else, you can always just ask me. It's super easy. I have no problem answering questions. But I'm going to just go ahead and do what I would normally do for a regular day. And we'll kind of go from there. Jeez, sorry. It's super dry in my apartment. And yeah. It's always super fun. So, right now I'm just going to go ahead and replicate a look that I already did last week, which most of you already saw, and kind of move on from there. This is a look I like to do when, I'm feeling a little extra depressed but don't want my makeup to look like I feel extra depressed, and also distract from the bags under my eyes from, my constant insomnia that I can't seem to do a goddamn thing about lately. And either way, I don't want people at work always saying dumbass shit to me about you look tired. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and I'm gonna take off my glasses. So if it looks like I'm not sure where I'm looking, it's probably because I'm not, because I can't actually fucking see a goddamn thing. So here we go. That being said, first thing I do is I moisturize my face, and right now what I'm using is this rosehip oil that I actually bought from Amazon because I've been seeing that it's really good for like makeup and people use it, but it drives me nuts because everyone always uses that one that has the fucking gold flakes in it, and it's like $20 for a bottle that's this big, and if you want a normal size bottle it's like $50. And quite frankly, you just need the goddamn rosehip oil. You don't need the gold flakes. They don't do anything. Like, what is the point? So I spent $12 on this whole bottle on Amazon, and it works just the same, and it's actually pretty great and super hydrating, and yeah. So I'm gonna put all that on my face. The dropper on this one actually is a bit shitty because I think I broke it when I opened it, but for the most part it does its job anyway, and I just put it on my hands instead of trying to drop it directly on my face because that doesn't work. And as you can see, like, my eyebrows are pretty much already done because I'm fickle and I don't really leave the house without doing them anyway, and I had class this morning. So this is me after class getting ready to go to work, actually. So I'm just going to go ahead and smooth all of that in and then let that sit while I work on doing my eyebrows. I know they're kind of done, but they're not done the way I would normally do them, so I'm going to shake those up. And then we'll move on to my eyeshadow. So for my brow stuff, I use, I think it's NYX. I think that's how you say it. This stuff, the Tame and Frame Tinted Brow Pomade. It's actually really great. It's waterproof. I don't ever wipe my eyebrows off on accident. And this container was about $6. And actually, you will use very little of it. So it lasts for quite a while, actually, which is pretty great. So I'm going to find the brush that I use that with, which is just a normal, like, eyebrow brush situation. I got this at Midwest Makeup like forever ago for like $3, and I haven't replaced it since, and it actually works pretty well. So there we are. And I always have like a paper towel to kind of wipe off the excess and keep the brow in like a straight line or whatever. So I'm gonna go ahead and do those. Normally I would use a stencil, and I used to use a stencil a lot, but since I use the stencil so much, I don't actually physically need to use the stencil anymore, which is cool. But I'm just gonna go ahead and fix these up. If you can't see what I'm doing, I'm sorry, but I need to be like right up in this mirror to be able to tell like what's going on with me. So, NYX is always a really good brand for me, and pretty much all my makeup is from them or from ColourPop because they have so many options that are under $10 that sticks with my budget, and you can get pretty much the same like pigment and colors and everything else you could from like really high-end brands without spending a ton of money, which is why I always go with them. Plus NYX is in Target and a lot of like drugstores. ColourPop is not, you have to order it, but they're really like quick with the shipping, and it's cheap and affordable. Like they have a flat rate shipping for everything. Sometimes they do free shipping stuff and all the other whatever, so that's always fun. But I'm just gonna concentrate on these brows for like 43 seconds, because sometimes I get too carried away and then my brows look crazy, and then I look crazy for like the rest of the day, you know, because I am crazy. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day, you know what I mean? And I don't know, I just felt like even if I can't do high quality stuff, there's some people who would appreciate this, because I like watching makeup tutorials as much as the next girl, but it's really hard to watch them when it's always makeup products and like stuff that I physically just can't afford no matter how hard I want to. Maybe someday, but right now as like a part-time worker and full-time college student, I just can't do it. Like I can't justify spending $40 on a fucking palette for 3 colors that I'm gonna use essentially. Like that's pretty much it. I don't know. It's one of those. I got music in the background, so if that's irritating anyone, sorry, but that's how I do my life. And so normally I outline my brow first, because if I don't, then I get carried away with the filling. So then I'll outline where they are, and then I fill in afterwards. I'm not great at keeping my brows consistent, but you know, that's why I was using a stencil, and judge me if you want to. I really don't care about that. I don't know, I'm just still like feeling a little bit off today, just because I haven't been able to get a whole bunch of sleep, and I have been stressed to the max a little bit just because I haven't been able to sleep, and then I'm still healing from my like breast reduction surgery, so sometimes when I try to go to sleep I'm a little bit uncomfortable because of like nerve pain or whatever that's going on with that a lot of the time. And also, you know, depression and anxiety, because that's how life rolls out for me. And we're just going to keep that real and honest. This channel is just going to be real and honest. So if you don't like that, you can literally go anywhere else. That's fine. And I also talk too much. So if you don't like that either, I don't give a shit. But I'm just letting you know right now. I'm probably going to talk way too much. But, yeah. My eyebrows are always the first thing I do, because I know I fucked them up and it takes me the longest, and I have actually almost been late to work a couple of times because I couldn't get my eyebrows right. And I don't always wear makeup. I wear makeup a lot of the time, but not always. I wear it just because it's actually really calming for me to do, and it's actually super helpful for when I'm like feeling super stressed out or like having tons of anxiety about something. It takes my mind off of it and gives my brain something else to focus on, which is cool. And usually I do that with like writing or reading or whatever, but sometimes when my depression is acting up at the same time, I don't want to write or read. I don't want to do any of that, so I just do my makeup. So at least, even if I don't feel put together on the inside, I look like I'm put together on the outside. And that all the old white men at my work won't ask me if I feel okay, because they ask stupid fucking questions like that all the time. You don't wear makeup one day and everyone just assumes that you're sick. It's stupid. Okay, so for right now, that's where I'm gonna leave my brows. I usually go back in after I have everything on my face, just because I always kind of mess them up when I put on my foundation, but I just like to get my solid outline first, and so I'll try to get closer. But you can see, eyebrows are sisters, not twins, but they're close enough. So, next, I'm going to move on to my eyeshadow, and you always want to start with like a base or a primer. That's what they say, and I do that. And what I use right now is another NYX product, which is an eyeshadow base. I have mine in the color white, but that's just because I'm darker skinned, and I know I can use like a skin tone concealer and stuff too, but I don't really like how those work, because I want my eye color, I can't talk. I want my eye colors to pop, and a lot of times like that doesn't work with just regular primer for me. So they make an eyeshadow base in white, which actually helps give your eyeshadow a lot more of a pigment. So then I'm just gonna go in with the brush that I use for that, which is just like a flat concealer brush, if you can see what that is right there. I'm gonna go ahead and spread that on my eyelid and as evenly as humanly possible. Right now. And once again, I'm gonna apologize for my poor lighting choices, but it's all I've got here, and it'll be better once like we actually have some sunlight, because there's a huge window like over there, but it's super gloomy today, so there's only so much I can do, and this is the spot that I do my makeup every single day, so it works. The lighting works for me and doesn't work for everybody, but that's where we are. I'm gonna go ahead and I've finished patting that in, so then I'm gonna take my NYX HD Studio Photogenic Finishing Powder. It's just in translucent, and then I'm gonna spread it over this primer so that the primer is set, so then when I go to put on the eyeshadow, it's not super cakey or sticking into the seams and all that other shit that like everyone says. I don't know technical terms for makeup stuff. I don't know the names of any of my brushes for the most part. All of my brushes are e.l.f. for the most part, or ones that were on sale at Target when I needed new brushes and they looked cool. So I have some Sonia Kashuk, I think. I don't know. Kashuk, whatever. Brushes, but they were on sale for like $9 for a set of them when I went to Target, so I bought them anyway. But for the most part, I use e.l.f. brushes because they're like $1 to $6 depending on the brush, and they all work really well. They do now have like an upscaled set of brushes that are a little bit more expensive. I think it's like $6 a piece for each brush, and I haven't tried them out yet, but I hope to, so then that way I can give you an accurate assessment on whether or not those are good, because I love drugstore makeup, drugstore brushes, drugstore everything, because I'm poor. So that's how that works. And so that I'm going to take, this is an e.l.f. brush, and the name isn't on it, but it looks like this. It's a little fluffy, but also like a little flat, if you can see that. If you can't, I'm sorry. Like, I can't see what I'm showing you because I can't see right now, because contacts are also expensive, so I just keep my glasses on all the time. And so then so I got that set, and then so you're gonna laugh, but people do this anyway with specialized like strips for this that cost more money than is necessary. But I always just use a little piece of Scotch tape, and I that one up with the oils on my skin, but a little tiny piece of like just regular office tape, and I put this right in the corner of my eyes to keep my eyeshadow in a certain spot. And then also, if I choose to do liner, it helps as a really good stencil for that too, so then I'm not necessarily just trying to wing it with my winged liner, because I'm actually really not that good at it. It's unfortunate, but you do whatever you can to help you. And that's my firm belief with most makeup things. Do whatever the fuck works for you. I don't care who says like what's right and what's wrong. I mean, makeup artists are makeup artists, and they're gonna do things the way that work for them. They went to school for it. I am not knocking like what they do or anything like that, but like as a simple everyday girl, I do what works for me, and that's what's important. It doesn't always turn out the way I hope, and that's fine. That's part of the experimenting game. Not every look looks good, but every once in a while I get one that I'm like, ooh, I'm super proud of that, which is why I'm doing the one I'm doing today. So I always do my eyeshadow and my eyes first because of fallout and all the other stuff, and I don't like to put my foundation on and then have to try to clean all that up, so I just do the eyes first because it makes the most sense. So the palette I'm going to use right now is from BH Cosmetics. It is the Modern Neutrals palette. I bought this on an app called Poshmark that I use all the time. It's buy and sell used fashion, makeup, clothes, all that other stuff that girls like sell from their houses or their boutiques or whatever. And a lot of times you get them because someone ordered a couple of them, or they ordered it and didn't like any of the colors and stuff like that. I know BH Cosmetics isn't really expensive. Like, I think you can get palettes and stuff like this for like maybe $12 to $13, which is on the high end for me, but for this many colors, that's really not that bad. But since I bought this on Poshmark, I only spent like $9 on it, which is great because it has tons of like, let me just try to open this without dropping it because I've dropped this thing before. It has tons of just basic colors in it. which is pretty great. And I use this one a lot for like my transitional colors and my blacks, and then any browns that I need to use is what I use this for. So I'm gonna grab a fluffy brush here, which is a blending brush actually, which is one of my favorite brushes in my collection. This is one of the Sonia brushes instead of an elf brush, and it came with cool designs on it. And like I said, I only spent $9 on an eye brush set, not a face brush set. So the first color I'm gonna use, I don't know the names of any of these colors, so I apologize, but I always use this color. I don't think you can see this color first, right there. That's my transitional color for this look anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and dust this lightly on the top here, and you can watch and kind of see where I'm going with it, but I always start with like a little bit and then build from there. And sometimes like I forget that my brushes have like black or something on there, but I need to clean them more often. But that doesn't really matter that much to me because I'm gonna put black anyway. That's what I do first. So then I'm gonna wipe that off. I always wipe my brushes off in between using them, even though I know it doesn't make a difference unless I actually really clean them, and I haven't done that in a little while because my depression keeps me from cleaning things sometimes when I'm supposed to, but they work. And so next, after that color, I'm gonna go ahead and add the one that's next to it, which is this darker brown. Can you see that? I'm not sure. Yeah, this darker brown right here. And then I'm going to add it basically in the same area, but just like a tiny bit lower, and I'm going to use the same brush. So I'm done with that color. So the next color I'm going to use is actually this dark brown right here. It's like a chocolatey brown. Can you see me pointing at that? Yeah, chocolatey brown right there. And the colors may not look exactly the same like on my camera in the way that they should look because of the lighting in here. But I'm going to take that color and I'm going to add it like right in the crease and then around the edge. And then for that, I use an elf brush actually. This brush was the $3 version of the brushes. They have dollars, $3, stuff like that. And this is a blending eye brush. It's a bit fluffy, it looks good. This one is not the one that I really like that much, but I got the other one is like caked in black, so I'm not even gonna bother touching it until I need black. So we'll take this dark brown, put a decent amount on the brush, but then I also tap off the excess so it doesn't get too crazy. And then I start at the outside and then move in. I'm gonna go ahead from this same palette. Like I said, I use this palette a lot. I don't use every color. I mostly use the oranges and the browns because as a black girl, I gotta tell you, like, oranges are great transitional colors, and so are browns, and I love a good chocolate brown, but I like black a lot too. I just try not to use black in every single thing that I do, but I also really like smoky eyes, so it's hard to do. But you can do smoky eyes with like browns and stuff. It just, you know, whatever is your preference is perfectly fine. So next I'm gonna go ahead and use the black down here. You can use whatever black you want, I don't care. I also have ColourPop black, which was like $6, and these pots last for a really long time. I just don't always end up using the ColourPop ones just because they take more effort. If I already have this palette out, I don't need to like go open another one. But I do have other ColourPop shadows that I'll try to do videos on as well, and I use a lot of their lipsticks and stuff like that too, which we will get to at some point. So with the black, I'm going to go in with the eye crease brush from e.l.f. This one was also $3, I believe, and I use this one for my black a lot of the time just because it's more precise than the other couple brushes, and I don't want it to get too crazy. So I go in with the black and I tap off the excess, and then once again I start at the outer corner and then move in. And so we're going to go. I got all my black in there, and then I'm going to go in with the fluffy blending brush that I was using earlier and sort of like smooth this black out because it does get a little crazy. Now that I have the black in there, I'm going to go back to my concealer, not my concealer, my eyeshadow base, which is the white paint pot here basically. And I'm going to take the same brush that I had used before, but I'm going to clean it and try to get more of a straight edge on this brush while I'm using it. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this and I'm going to apply it to my lid area to give it sort of a cut, creasy sort of feel, but not all the way down, just on like the small lid area, so that the color that I apply next is going to be a lot more vibrant and also clean while it sits in there, because I like the way that looked when I did it. So I'm going to concentrate on trying to do this and not fuck it up, because sometimes I go too high, sometimes it's not straight. Excuse me, Jesus. All right, gassy, I'm on a period. So alright, so that's as even as I'm going to get it, and I'm not going to go too crazy, because when I try to get it super even, it's when I do too much. So then I'm going to do the same thing that I did earlier with this fluffy, like, flattish brush, and pat a little bit of setting powder on this white area so that it's not too cakey when I go to put on the color. So there we go. And so now, with that being said, I am Poshmark, from a Poshmark user. It's BH Cosmetics again. This one is a build your own palette sort of situation. So you buy like the little pans, which I think I'll have to look up the price if you really want to know, but I don't think they're super expensive. They're not like MAC ones, which are crazy expensive. They're very inexpensive. And then they go into this little magnetic holder. And she was selling it because she didn't want all these colors, and I was like, I will take all of these colors because they were great. So from Poshmark, I spent $10 on this whole thing. So I just dropped it. But I swear by Poshmark, like, you have no idea. And I dropped it, and like none of the shadows broke, which is fantastic because they're magnetic, so they stay where they're supposed to. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out, because I don't know the color names, but it's easier to show the color to you if I just pull out the pan. And some of these have like a lot of like fallout, and some of them are, but the fallout I don't have a problem with, because like I said, I don't put my foundation on immediately, so it's super easy to clean up. Oh my god. And then now I got it like upside down, so like now I can't get it out. There we go, I got it. Alright, I got it. So this color is a like blue, like shimmery blue, almost blue genie, sort of, whatever. It's from, I don't know what the color name is, but it's from the Cool Shimmer series. It's BHC S18, I guess. They don't have color names, they mostly have numbers in this specific palette, but this is the color that I use for the lid. And so I'm going to take a flat brush that I have, if I can find it, which is my favorite flat brush to apply my lid colors with. This is one of the Sonia brushes from my like cheap ass on sale set, and I probably used a coupon too at the same time because Target lets me do that. And then I'm going to take a spray bottle that is filled with water. Now this one looks like my setting spray, but it's not, and I labeled it water because last time I didn't, and I sprayed water all over my face and fucked up all of my makeup. And I like to do this because if you wet the brush before you use most of the colors, it helps them be, they're easier to pick up, 1. 2, they're more vibrant, and it's pretty great. So I always spray the brush with a little bit of water, dab off a bit of the excess, and then go in for this blue color right here, which I am going to apply to my lid. And I just picked up more setting spray yesterday. I didn't have any left, and I had been just dealing with not having any left because I couldn't justify spending the $6 on it because like I needed food and stuff. And like I'm not that broke, but at the same time when like I have to put gas in my car and pay a ridiculous amount of money for car insurance, and then also pay rent, and then I also have a phone bill, sometimes my checks just don't meet up in the same way that they normally do. So then I end up not having any like money left. And it's not because I'm poor spending, it's just because sometimes bills all seem to happen at the same time. I can kind of see shapes, I just can't see everything. So now that I have the blue on my lid, and I'm gonna let that like dry a little bit because I used a little bit of water in it, I'm gonna go into because that was this palette. And these are the 3 main palettes I have. I have more, and I'll try to use those too. I just sometimes get really set on using the same makeup basically every day. So the next palette I'm going to use, I kind of want to show you, but I don't, because it's a really like well-known palette. It's a super famous palette. It's a palette that I wanted for a while, and I did order it from someone on Poshmark, but it turns out that the one that I have is a fake, and I really don't want to show it because I don't want people like coming after me for having fake makeup and blah 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 blah, because you can't really promote fake makeup that much because you don't know what's in it. It also takes money away from like the people who make it and whatever and stuff like that. But at the same time, I kept it because the colors worked basically the same, and they were actually really nice, and they feel really good. They don't irritate my eyes, nothing like that. And honestly, if I can find a palette that has the same shit as the one that's being like sold for $50-$60 for $12, I'm gonna spend the $12, and I'm gonna use the $12 one, which is what I chose to do here. So I have it. I will let you know what it is if you really want to know what it is, but for right now I'm just not gonna even broadcast it because I don't need the bullshit from people. But you can ask, I will tell you. But this one, I'll tell you, this one has foiled shadows in it, so that makes more sense. And I don't really use all the other colors yet because I haven't had much of a reason. They do have color names, but like I said, I'm not really gonna go there. So with that being said, I'm gonna use a gold foiled shadow. You can use whatever gold you want. You also don't have to use gold. You can use silver, you can use whatever. That's what I'm gonna do with that. But first, what I'm gonna do is go in with a blending brush and take in the edges of this color and mend it with the black that's on my eye. But first, I'm gonna use a brown to sort of like level that out. And I'll use the dark brown that we used third. I'm not going to keep picking up this palette because I'm afraid I'm going to drop it and this one isn't as safe. So I'll use the brown and put that in there, but I'm only going to do it on the outer edge because I want this to be a clean crease right up here the way it is. But I also just don't like having a harsh edge where the edge of my lid shadow sits. So a little bit of dark brown and then just a tiny bit of black. Like, just dip the brush in there. Don't even do a whole lot. And sometimes I feel like this look looks crazy because, like, my lid just ends out of nowhere. But, you know, that's nobody else's business but mine. So, now that I did that, I feel better about that. So then I'm going to go ahead and use this palette that I was talking about. Like I said, if you really want to know what it is, you can ask me. But I just don't want, like, people giving me shit for making a choice. Like, I didn't know it was fake when I bought it. And I'm not going to sit here and call people out for doing that. And I'm not going to throw it away if it works perfectly fine because I spent fucking money on it. So, I'm broke. I do what I have to do. So again, I'm going to wet the brush because foil shadows work where, like, they only work if you use your finger and drag it across your lid, or if you use a wet brush. And I can't do the finger thing with the inner corner of my eye because of my nails, and it never fucking works. So I just use water and a brush. And I'll use the same flat brush I used for the blue, so I wiped that off before I got to it. And then I'm going to go in with a gold color for this, for the inner corner of my eye. So, you can use whatever color you want. It does not have to be gold. This does not have to be blue. Literally, this look is interchangeable with any colors because it's like a smoky eye, basically. And the outer corner is just black. So you can do whatever. But I'm going to go ahead and grab some of this gold here on my brush. And then I'm going to pat this into the inner corner of my eye, and then I'm also going to try to drag it just a little bit to blend it in with the blue, because I don't know, this look made me feel like super good the other day, and I was feeling like super down, and I've been like crazy depressed lately. So sometimes I feel like I just need to look like a goddess in the middle of the day to pull myself out of just a little bit of a funk, even though depression doesn't work that way. Like, I want people to understand that. Just putting on makeup doesn't make me unsad. Just getting out of bed doesn't make me unsad. Doesn't make me not depressed. Like, sometimes I will literally just stay depressed. And there's not a whole lot I can do about it. So now, for now, I am done with my eyes. So I'm going to peel this tape off, which sometimes hurts a little bit. And you can stick the tape on your hand before you stick it on your face if you want to take off a little bit of like the tape residue so it's not as super adhesive. But I have oily skin, so if I do that, 9 times out of 10 the tape doesn't even stick and it just starts coming off immediately. So next I'm going to go ahead and start doing what I would do for my face. And so first, what I use is NYX's Shine Killer. This is a little bit expensive for a bottle of this. It's $13, and that's high for me, but I had a coupon, so it was pretty cheap. But this is good for oily skin. It kind of mattifies it for you and tries to keep the oil down while you have makeup on, because like I get really, really, really oily in my nose area. Not so much everywhere else, but mostly in my nose. But I put it everywhere on my face, and it doesn't smell bad. And it feels actually really nice and like moisturizing on your skin at the same time that you use it. So I just go ahead and put that all over my face. I go back in with, I always do the Shine Killer first because then I use NYX's Pore Filler, which is about $11 or something like that, which is still kind of expensive, but for primer, on the drugstore brand scale, this stuff is amazing. And some primers, like people who use like the Benefit stuff, it's like $20 for like a tiny ass tube, and like I don't have time for that. So I buy this and I put the Pore Filler on after I put on the Shine Killer so that it will just suck that shit into my pores too, I think. Like, I don't know how that actually works scientifically speaking, but in my mind, it makes sense to me. Pore Filler after Shine Killer so that it helps it fill into my pores or some shit like that. Shine Killer is in my pores and the Pore Filler is in my pores, so I go ahead and I try to keep the shit organized, but like I'm really bad at it. My makeup desk is just a goddamn mess. I cleaned it up a little bit the other day, but not really. So then I'm gonna go in with the current foundation that I'm using. I'm waiting until I get paid again, but I'm gonna try NYX's new Total Control foundation. It's drop. So then you can give yourself full, medium, or light coverage on your own, and it's matte. Because I have oily skin, I prefer matte foundations, but currently, because I can't afford to get the ones that I want, this is the one that I use. And this isn't matte, but I can make it matte, but it is oil-free, and it's all-day wear. It's L'Oreal's True Match. And right now, I'm using the shade Neutral and Mahogany. I got this off Amazon, actually, Amazon Now, or Prime Now, or whatever. And they delivered it straight to my house, and it was $6 for this whole thing, and I really don't need a lot, and it feels really light. It's good for sensitive skin, because I have sensitive skin, so it doesn't make me break out too crazy. It's not too bad or anything, and it's the closest matching foundation I've found from like a drugstore brand so far for me. So what I do is I go ahead and just dip. I don't have a pump for it, and I don't know if they sell them, but I just didn't buy one, so I just put some on my finger and make tiny little dots all over my face. And this sometimes gets a little messy for me, but I always keep paper towels on my makeup desk just so I can clean shit off my fingers. Not literal shit off my fingers, because that would be absolutely disgusting. I'm not that gross. So, there's tiny little dots everywhere because I like mine to be mostly full coverage, but you don't have to put this much on your face. You don't even have to wear foundation if you don't want to. That's up to you. The foundation on my face. So then I'm going to use my large oval brush. I bought a set of these for $12 on Amazon, and they're the rose gold colored ones. These are great. They work really well. They're really soft. They are inexpensive. It was $12 for a whole set. Like, I have a ton of different sizes of the oval ones. The one that I normally use for my foundation, though, I broke it on accident. I love this foundation for foundation every day, because it's super easy on the face and it doesn't like drive me nuts or get itchy or cause me to break out. My skin does get oily throughout the day, but that has nothing to do with the foundation. I'm just oily, and I'm also a sweaty person, so like I sweat a lot. I don't know why. No one knows why. It's just like the medical phenomenon of me losing my voice all the time. I got my tonsils removed when I was a kid. And ever since then, like every once in a while, I will just lose my voice for zero reason at all. And doctors don't know why. There's no real like reason for it. I just like start sounding super raspy and like I'm trying to sound like a sexy Scarlett Johansson, and I'm really not. I just actually lost my voice, and I have zero control over when it happens, which is annoying, but whatever. So, as you can see, now I have foundation spread all over my face. In this light, it looks like it doesn't really match that well, but I promise you it does. sometimes things just don't work the same way with the lighting on camera and the lighting with me. But it's a really good foundation, and I actually really, really like it. And I've had this little bottle for a couple months now, and I don't use a lot, so it lasts me for a little while. But like I said, I'm hoping to try a different foundation soon, and I'll probably try it in these videos so you guys can see how well it works when I use it. I'm gonna drag that down to my neck, and now that my face is covered, I go back in with another brush that is an e.l.f. brush, and this is an e.l.f. stippling brush, or dual fiber brush too, I think is what they call it. It's a little one, but I just do that to sort of like even out my foundation, because sometimes the big brush doesn't catch all the like little areas that it can't fit into. So now I have my foundation on, and I'm satisfied with the way my foundation is on for right now. So next I'm going to move on to my highlight and my contour. For highlighting, I actually use e.l.f. because e.l.f. has these little like foundation kits, and they call them foundation kits. Their contour kit is powder, and I don't really like powder all that much, so for highlight and contour, but I got the foundation kit, and you can tell which one I use the most. This one is my highlight color. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that under my eyes and all the areas that you're supposed to highlight with another flat brush that I use specifically for that. This I got in a Ipsy bag a long time ago, and I don't remember what the brush is called, and I'm also not subscribed to Ipsy anymore because, one, I can't afford it. Even though it's only $10 a month, that's $10 I could use for just about anything else. And also because I haven't found Ipsy to be horribly black girl friendly a lot of the time, and I know there's another company that is like friendly for women of color. I just can't afford another subscription box thing right at this second. But when I had Ipsy, like, they would just send me stuff that obviously there's no fucking way that would work for me. Like, you know damn well I've told you what my skin tone is, I've told you what I prefer, and like, some black girls can rock hot pink lipstick. That's great. I can't, and like, I'm not going to, and I'd appreciate it if they like stick to what you tell them you do and don't want, but they really don't. And like, if they sent me one more motherfucking liner, I was gonna lose my mind. Like, I have enough eyeliners. I don't need another eyeliner. Please stop sending me eyeliner. How about you send me lipstick that actually matches my skin tone? How about that? Not every red works for every person. I don't think they understand it, but whatever. So, now that I have the highlight on there, I know you're supposed to like highlight and contour at the same time, but I don't, because I'm bad at blending it sometimes, and then it gets muddy if I do it that way. So I'm just gonna go ahead and blend this out. So first thing I'm gonna do is I bought this beauty blender for $5 on Amazon, I believe, and it works just as well as any other beauty blender that I've ever seen. You don't need to spend $30 on a beauty blender. It makes no fucking sense. And I accidentally tore mine, but it still works pretty well. And then what I do to help blend out my highlight is I add a tiny drop of rosehip oil to the sponge, because then it helps it absorb and then keeps it conditioned too, because then it'll start cracking if it dries out. So that works for me. You don't have to do that. I just choose to do that because it works. So that's how I feel. So then I'm gonna use that to blend this out. You want to pat them bags away from your depression, insomnia, and your highlight will help you with that. Or at least my depression, insomnia. I don't know what you guys are like. I hate when I like try to go to bed and I know I'm exhausted and like my depression is making me exhausted, but then as soon as I touch the bed, I am wide awake. Like, I can't sleep at all. It's like my mind knows I want to go to bed, and they're just like, nah, we're not gonna do that. So then I am up all night staring at the ceiling, remembering things nobody wants to remember. It's counting sheep, even though that shit doesn't work, and thinking about all the things that I might have forgotten to do today or need to do tomorrow, and then I just don't sleep. So I like having my highlight and the rosehip oil because it kind of helps hide the bags under my eyes. So now that that's blended out, which you can't really tell too much here because I don't like, some girls go really light with their highlight, which is fine, and it works, and they know what they're doing to blend it out, but like, I don't. So I don't go super light because I don't want to look crazy. I just want to look highlighted a little bit, you know? So now I'm going to go in with banana powder. It's called Banana Dreams. It works just as well as a lot of other stuff, and I got this from Amazon. Warpaint Cosmetics is a what it is and it is based in England, and they make basically the same stuff as like Naked with their palettes and things, but it's in England, and it's not tested on animals, and if you're wondering that, and it's banana because it works well for setting my stuff, but also it's good for, banana is good for dark skin, so that's what I use. So I'm gonna take the flat end of my beauty blender, which is what I always use, and pat this on where I put my highlight. And I don't do this every day because you can see how fucking time consuming it is, and like I don't have time to do Instagram makeup every day because I have school and a goddamn job and like places to be. So now that I have that, I'm gonna let this sit for a little bit, so then I take the opportunity to do the bottom of my eyes because the powder will help clear out any fallout and also touch up whatever I might have fucked up on my eyeshadow at the same time. So this is an NYC Kohl liner pencil. It's not resharpenable or refillable, but it lasts for a really long time because it's cold and you don't really need a lot of it. And this was like $2, and it doesn't irritate my eyes. It's actually really nice. NYC isn't terrible. I mean, I know it's not like the best, but it's alright. And I only use it to jam it right in my waterline anyway, so it doesn't really fucking matter. I like to concentrate when I'm doing that because I have stabbed myself in the eye more times than I can count, and then it starts watering and then I ruin everything. So like my life. So then with that, I'm gonna go ahead and use a different brush to put some black eyeshadow over the liner that I just put on. And this is another one of the Sonia brushes. This one is just a tiny little point brush, and it works really well for like putting shadows here if you need to do specific line drawing on your eyes for whatever fucking reason, but I don't ever really need to do that, so I just use it for this. So now you can see that I've done that, and then I'm going to go back in with my foiled shadow and touch up this gold because a lot of times that happens, but this time instead of water I'm going to use my setting spray because it helps it stick just a little bit longer, and now I have setting spray, so I'm going to use it. The setting spray that I use is Matte Finish. It's also a NYX product. It's $6 for this bottle, and it lasts for a while. And I use matte because, like I said, I have oily skin, so matte is something that like really helps me stay matte for a while until the oil starts kicking through. But you can always respray through during the day if it's something that you need to do. I usually just don't bother because I'm at work and I only work for like 4 hours, so whatever. And I do my mascara, which is a L'Oreal Voluminous Mascara in Carbon Black. This was about $5 on Prime Now from Amazon. I just ordered it straight to my door with my foundation, or you can go to Target and buy it too. I think this is like one of the best low-end mascaras that isn't like Benefits stuff or whatever that really brings out my lashes, because I do not always wear lashes with my eye looks because I wear glasses, and wearing eyelashes and glasses at the same time is the most annoying shit in the world. Like, you can't wear your glasses all the way up here because they brush too much, and I haven't yet found lashes that are short enough that don't irritate me, so I'm still on the lookout. So if you guys know anything, let me know. Otherwise, I'm not wearing lashes. You can wear lashes if you want to, but I'm just gonna load this shit on my eyeballs and go from there. Look at them. My top lashes are not nearly as good as my boyfriend's, but like, it's like men always have the best fucking lashes and they don't even care, and I care so much. Like, I want them, and I'm trying not to be gender exclusive here. I'm just saying most men that I know that are biologically cis men have like really great eyelashes, and some ladies do too. And I mean trans men as well. I think it's the testosterone. Like, I think that just helps them grow like badass lashes. So kudos to you. But I can't do that. So I'm just gonna wear way too much mascara and call it a day. So now that I'm done with that, I'm gonna take this fluffy brush. I bought this on Amazon for like $3. Best decision ever. So I'm gonna take this brush and I'm gonna brush off all the excess powder on my face. Obvious at this point, I hope, that I'm black. I don't think that that's going to come to a surprise for most people, but here we are. That's also something I would like to point out. I'm black, so Yay. But a lot of the stuff I do works for my skin and my skin tone. If it doesn't work for your skin tone, you don't have to do it. I'm just going to do it the way it works for me, because obviously I'm darker skinned and I'm not going to be like, well, I'm going to wear this because I'm not like that. But if you're lighter or whatever, do what you want to do. That's fine. I'm just going to center around being black because, like, I can't turn that off. So here we are. Deal with it. So now that I've brushed off the powder, I'm going to go in with my contour. And the first thing I do for my contour is ColourPop's sculpting sticks. This one is in typo, but they changed the names because the darker colors were all in like really offensive names like typo or ick or whatever, and people found that really offensive, and I did too. But they changed the color names because people pointed it out to them, and I don't think they realized what they were doing. So I don't know what the new color of this one is now, but I still have typo from before they changed it. And it's a contour stick, or they call it a sculpting stick. And this was like $5, I think, and it's lasted me like almost a year. Like, I don't even need to use that much. It's that thick and creamy and amazing. And I love ColourPop. Like, I will swear up and down, they are really good about shipping. It is really inexpensive. They have all sorts of colors, highlights, brow product, everything. Like, check out ColourPop. I'm not even kidding you. So now I'm gonna contour. If you know how to contour, you know where those spots go. If you don't, we can do a more in-depth video later, but I don't want to get too in-depth about it because I'll be running out of time shortly. But you can go ahead and I like it because it comes in a pin, so I can just draw it on my face and I don't have to use like a different brush or none of that. Suck in my tiny little double chin there. And don't say shit about me talking about my weight. I know I look alright. I'm not saying I look bad. I just know that I've gained weight in the last little while from stress eating and stuff. So, I always hate that when I tell people that I'm like out of shape and they're like, well, you look good though. I'm like, bitch, I didn't say I looked bad. I just said that I'm out of shape. I'm 24 and walking upstairs makes me tired. That's a little sad. But I didn't say I didn't look good. At what point did I ever say that? Right. So next, I'm going to go in with some powders, and then I'm basically done. But this is the City Color Contour Effects palette. I bought this off of Poshmark from another user for like $10, and I think City Color only charges the same for this, and you can also buy it on Amazon. But it comes, I don't use the highlight in here because it was too fucking bright for me anyway, but it comes with the highlight, bronzer, and a contour powder. You can see which one I've used the most because I didn't have cream contour for a while, so I would just use this. And it also gives you like a tiny little diagram. But I use the powder over my contour to set it so it doesn't go anywhere, and I just use this brush. I don't know where this brush came from. I know I've had it for a really long fucking time. I don't know where I got it. I think I stole it from my mom when we were kids, when she was throwing out makeup stuff, but I can't remember. But I've had it forever, and it still works. So I'm gonna dip my brush into the contour circle, tap off the excess, and then go over where I contoured. So now that I've added that powder, next thing, I don't have blush, and I haven't for a while, and I keep meaning to buy some, but I just have not done so. So next thing I do is, because this bronzer is too light for me, I go ahead and use it as sort of a highlight on top of my other highlight, because it helps like blend all this stuff seamlessly. You'll see when I do it, and then that's just end up what I'm doing, because I don't really have blush, but I want my cheeks to still have some warmth underneath everything else, so it kind of works the same way. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to my cheeks and back, and then around my eye. This is what I always do. And I always use this brush. This is also an e.l.f. brush. This is the blush brush. This is from their like $3 set, I believe. But you can use whatever bronzer you want. You can also use a blush. I've been trying to find a better bronzer that's not super expensive, because like I can't afford the bronzers that a lot of these girls use in like their videos and stuff. Even though they look great, I literally can't afford it. There's no way in hell I can pay $15 for one little tiny square of bronzer. And I always put some around my lip area because I have a little mustache, so, and I can't lie about that. You can't really tell because it's obviously light, but still, like, I just add some color around there too. So once I do all that, that's basically where I'm done with until I get to my lips, which I'm going to do next. And no, I'm not going to do that next. I'm going to do my highlight next. So, that's basically all my face stuff, but now I move on to my highlight, which is this little sample thing. It's a Bliss by Ofra. Super duper pigmented, so you don't even need to use a whole lot. And it looks like I broke it a little bit earlier when I was moving it around, so I'm not going to do too much, but you can see like it's super pigmented and super thick, so you don't need to use a lot. And I've had this for a couple years now, and I've still not even scraped the bottom of this goddamn thing. So I'm going to use this giant fan brush that I bought from Amazon for like $3. I was thinking it was smaller when I bought it, but it turns out it's not. It's huge, but it works the same. So you just lightly dust this on top of the highlighter, and then I just put it where you would normally put highlighter, and like, look at that glow. Like, I love this shit. This stuff gives me such a glow, and sometimes I accidentally go over the top with it, but I don't really give a fuck. So try to blend that in just a little bit, and then do the same thing on the other side. And it's hard for me to see this side of my face just because, like, it's not like this side at all, and it doesn't hit the light the same way, and, like, I'm fucking left-handed. So I try to even them out and do them the same, but it doesn't always work. So then I take my finger and sort of blend it in, because I don't like when it looks like my highlight is just sitting on top of my skin. Even though it's a pretty color, it sort of just sits there. And then I drag a little bit down the top of my nose. And then I dot a little bit on the bottom of my nose. But I don't complete a line, like I don't go all the way down. Just halfway down, and then a little dot right there. And then put some in the what is it? It's called a philtrum, I believe. I don't remember my anatomy of my body or my face from drawing class or anything else, but that's what I do with that. And then I will take the same brush that I used to put translucent powder on my eyes to highlight my brow bone with the same color. I know some people use different colors than what they use to highlight their face, but I kind of just like keeping it the same. So I just highlight my brow bone with that too, because then it blends in to my eyeshadow quite nicely. But Ipsy is great if you can afford the $10 a month, because you get samples of stuff that you probably wouldn't have bought otherwise. And sometimes those samples last for a while, especially like this highlighter and stuff, because you don't always need a lot. And it's pretty great like that. And I don't know, I just like it. I used to like it, but it works a lot better if you're not like a woman of color, because stuff isn't exclusively made for like us a lot of the times that they send out. So now that I've got my glow, which I'm just gonna go ahead and try to add just a little bit to my chin. But yeah, I've had this forever, and it's been great. It's been a great run with this stuff. Like, it's never let me down. It's so pretty. Like, look at my glow. Okay, sorry about that. My boyfriend texted me at the same time that like I'm filming video, and for some reason when that happens my phone stops it, so I'm gonna try to find a way to chop these two together. But either way, it seems a little weird. I can't remember what I was saying, but here I am with all my highlight and everything else. So now I'm basically done with my look. I'm going to use my setting spray on my face, which is the one I showed you already, the matte from NYX. $6 a bottle, lasts for a little while. I always spray everywhere a lot. But actually, I'm going to fix up my brows before I do that, because like I said, sometimes when I start doing my face, I lose them. So, now I'm done with that. Now I'm going to set. And I probably use way too much, but I have really oily skin, so I don't give a shit. I use as much as I want. I spend money on it. There's no limit on what you're allowed to do with your face. You do what you want, and you do it happily. So I'm going to let that dry. Okay, that was the finishing spray, because I was super scared that I accidentally just sprayed water all over my face again. Gotta wait for this setting spray to dry. But while that happens and while it dries, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of rosehip oil on my lips. I'm going to show you guys a little trick. I'm going to use, this is ColourPop. Their liquid matte lipsticks are about $6 a pop. They have not thousands, but tons of color choices that you can have. And then they've got some weird colors in there, which I do have too. Little trick. Kylie's lip kits and lipsticks are made in the exact same factory as ColourPop's are. So they're basically the same formula, except hers has a smell like cupcakes or something to it. I've never had it, but I've heard so much about it. So there's that. And also hers might be a little bit more moisturizing. Sometimes the ColourPop ones can get a little drying, but they are essentially the same lipstick. And she has, ColourPop has a little bit of the same shades that she has as well. But a trick to that, if you want them to start feeling like a Kylie one, I have rosehip oil, or you can put some chapstick or whatever underneath it, because then that adds moisture, but doesn't take away from the mattifying effect of this lipstick. So that's what I do. So again, if you want your ColourPop lipstick to feel exactly like Kylie's lipsticks, basically, but without like the lip kit stuff, you can buy liners. Like, they sell liners that match their lipsticks too, and it's far cheaper. Like, it's not $20 a kit. You'd probably spend like 10 or 12 at the most, and they work really well. But if you put some rosehip oil or some chapstick or something underneath the ColourPop lipsticks, then you basically have the same formula feel as Kylie's lip kits, and it's far cheaper and less crazy. So there's that. So the color I'm going to be using is Guess by ColourPop. It's a liquid matte. I don't really use the liquid satin ones too much, but I hear those are also great. But I like matte lipsticks. I really like them, which is why I also use the rosehip oil and sugar scrubs, because matte lipsticks can be super drying. But this one is in Guess, which is like a really nice dark blackish purple. You don't have to use this color. You can use whatever color you want. I really don't give a shit. Like, whatever works for you. I just like dark colors, so this is what I'm going to use today. And I feel like ColourPop is severely underrated. Like, I get that Jeffree and like Kat and all of them make really good stuff, but honestly, this lipstick lasts all day on me with no problems. And it's super affordable, and they have really great colors, and they also swatch them on 3 different skin tones, including black, so then I can get a general idea of what a color might look like before I buy it, so I don't like buy something that's gonna make me look like an idiot. You know what I mean? It's $6 a tube, and they last for a while. Oops, except for me, because like I have big lips, so I have to use a lot. Like a lot of lipstick. You can tell me, guys, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, all that good stuff, or whatever. My video got a little messed up, so I'm gonna try to fix that. So either way, if you need me to go cheaper with makeup, let me know. If y'all have questions, also let me know. At the end of the day, I'm always here. So I gotta get ready to go to work, but here's the finished product if you are interested. I don't really like doing like these like glamour shot stuff, because like I feel like I look stupid. But thanks for watching. Bye 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 bye.